cut it. We need hydration. Your
Mm-hmm.
hair, just like you put hydration on the hair,
Mm-hmm.
you need to put hydration in your body so that it makes good soil
Yes.
to grow the hair,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
All of this is about good soil.
So
And
do you have a recommendation? I've heard a couple of different sort of approaches to the amount of water, right? I've heard someone say 2 liters, which is about 64 ounces. I've heard someone say half your body weight.
yeah,
Do
so
you have a
it
recommendation?
would be half the body weight in ounces. That's what I
Okay.
would tell the people. And I
Okay.
know that the medical world changes this thing all the
Mm-hmm.
time. For me personally, I also add a little Celtic sea salt
See.
to my water so that I can absorb the water instead
Mm-hmm.
of drinking it and basically eliminating it out.
Mm-hmm.
That salt helps you absorb the water into your cells. And
Okay.
so, yes, I would tell my clients half the body weight in ounces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
sometimes we need supplementation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Sometimes we not eating what we supposed to eat, and we know that,
Right.
right?
Right.
So I would ask, or I would recommend taking some kind of supplementation to help you
Mm-hmm.
out in that area.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is oxygenation. Breathe and bringing oxygen into our bodies. Our body needs oxygen and it needs good oxygen, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Mm-hmm.
there's environmental issues that
Mm-hmm.
contribute to our whole body wellness, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're around a whole bunch of smoke, that's a
Yep.
problem, right? Because you're
Yes.
inhaling that smoke. So good oxygenation and it's simple things that you can do for yourself is actually taking deep breaths to
Mm-hmm.
bring that oxygen into our bodies in a real way.
Mm-hmm. And
Oh
there are so many free apps. There's so many things. Like this is a good reminder to
yeah,
me as well of all the small little things we can do.
and that's what it is. It is small things, but you have to be intentional and
Yeah.
aware.
Right.
We can't compartmentalize all this stuff. We got to bring this thing together
Mm-hmm.
as a holistic living.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is small things. That's why this don't cost you much right here.
Right. Right.
Right? This is just being conscious that and aware that these things impact not my body and my hair.
Right. Right. Right.
The other thing is I put meditation and relaxation together. And we need to de-stress.
Yes.
Stress is taking us out of here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why we are now in the world acknowledging mental health in a real way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you think that your mental health is not impacting your hair, you're dead wrong.
Right. Right. Right.
Dead wrong, right? Um, it makes me think about in my mother's generation, and I would say mindset, I won't even say generation. There's some people in the mindset, they don't want to know when they're sick, right?
Right. Yep.
Why they
Yep.
don't want to know when they're sick? Because guess what? When they find out they're sick, the mind go crazy and then they die fast. Just
Mm-hmm.
because you're just stressed out because you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes ignorance is bliss for some people, right? They don't want to know because the mind start going crazy about the this and the that and the that, right?
Right.
That lets you know how powerful your mind is and how impactful stress is. It impacts your physical body
Right.
because your
Right.
mind and then went crazy, right?
Right.
So if
Right.
you think the stress, and I share it with about my son, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
on the spectrum, he has medical issues.
Mm-hmm.
Could have never contribute that as a contributing factor from me losing my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I was stressed
Yep.
out,
Yep.
stressed out. And that stress was a contributing factor of my losing my hair. So I had to learn practices to relax
Mm-hmm.
for my well-being,
Right.
let alone my hair.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? This is just an indirect impact.
Right. Of mhm.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to tell you too. First of all, your hair is gorgeous. And I wanted to say that earlier, but there's two things. I saw a journal, a couple things. One was to your what you were saying about the meditation and the relaxation,
Yeah.
how the breathing. I've seen it in multiple places where just breathing can reduce your cortisol, which is going to
Yes.
reduce that hormone coursing through our bodies
Yes.
because it's activating our vagus nerve, right? So that practice of doing that, again, something else, there's no cost. But the one thing I read a study a while ago, and it was saying how our cells, hear me out, and this was in a scientific journal,
Mhm.
cells are listening to our thoughts. So even though what we're thinking,
Yes.
what
Yes.
we're thinking is impacting what's happening in our body.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Prime example. I I've done I forget the name. Okay. Oh my gosh, why I can't think of the name of this. Where you go and get in this pot of water. Oh, I can't remember.
And
Wow.
use float.
Float therapy. That's
Float.
it.
Okay, yeah, I saw. Okay.
Okay. So you go into this pot. It's like sensory deprivation,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Because there's no light. You're closed in like a wound. Okay,
Mhm.
it's like a pot.
Mhm.
Okay, you're in the body of water with salt water, so automatically you're floating.
Mhm.
But the so my experience in this pod is that because I had uh no sound, no light or anything like that, depending on what I thought about,
Mhm.
I could see my breathing change. My heart, when I would think about something not good, my heart was pounding. And because there's no other input, you can get really in tune with your body. My
Yes.
heart would be racing, my breathing would be heavy. But then when I thought about something beautiful,
Mhm.
it calmed me down. So that is a clear example of how our thoughts impact our
Right.
body and our
Right.
cells in our body in a real way. So this is real. This is not no plaything about the
Right.
stress. We have to put practices in our lives that will de-stress ourselves.
Right. Right.
Why you think they want you to relax when you get your blood pressure done?
Right.
Okay. It's not a good thing to have a traumatic event and then go get some blood pressure checked.
Right.
Right?
Right. Right.
Because it
Right.
shows up, it becomes physical.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
physical,
Yeah.
right? So the next thing is detoxification. So every now and then we got to detox these organs, baby. We got to reset because we
Mhm.
eat the wrong thing, we doing the wrong thing. We need to reset. And that's
Mhm.
a simple. Sometimes some people do tea detox. Some people take pills or just eating a certain kind of way to detox the body. We need to do that every now and then to reset our bodies.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then you have circulation. Listen, every follicle on our head has a blood source to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Where blood does not flow, hair will not grow. Period. Okay. That's when you know for someone that comes in, they may have scar tissue because there's no blood flow going there anymore.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So where blood does not flow, hair will not grow. So we need good circulation in our body. And that's simply something like working out.
Right. Right.
Flow is going, the blood flow is going, right?
Right. Right.
Circulation, a simple thing would be just to work out. You got to move the body. We
Mhm.
can't just sit stationary, right? We have to move our body.
Mhm.
And the last one I have here as a key is stimulation, right? Simply stimulating the scalp by doing like massages and things of that nature, right?
Mhm.
To keep
Mhm.
the blood flow going in our bodies. So these are the 10 keys, okay? This is the holistic approach, meaning like you're not spending all that money.
Right.
This, right? This
Right.
is something that you can consciously make a choice for yourself each day to make sure you're doing something in this area,
Right.
right?
Right.
This is about your whole body. That's why it is holistic with the W. And obviously, this will impact your overall health that will indirectly help your hair health.
Absolutely.
So those I over the years as I research and learn new things, and it's not to take away from the conventional approach. And there's also regenerative approaches to hair growth. We
Mhm.
can actually do all three simultaneously to even
Yeah.
uh, move the needle faster,
Right.
right?
Right.
But we can start somewhere. So if you don't have the money to go to the doctor, if you don't have the money to try these other things, you can start here, and that's daily lifestyle changes.
Right, right. And what I love about this too is this is the way the lens with which I see this is an abundance approach versus a scarcity approach, right? So a scarcity is I only have one option,
Right.
right? This is saying there are multiple things within this wheel itself, let alone maybe there is a medical component to it, maybe there are some other things. And so we have the resources available. We
Hmm.
just need to identify which are the right ones for me as an individual right now.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that I advocate for this approach in conjunction with those other things
Right.
and
Right.
only make it even better. Right.
Right. Right.
And you can do this whether you have hair loss or not. This is preventative. This is for your whole body.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
That's good. That's good to know. It's a preventative tool. It's a maintenance tool. It's a
Absolutely. Guess
so
what? Guess what? We have setbacks,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
Somebody can grow their hair back, right? And let you eliminate something on this wheel. Let you eliminate something on this wheel.
Right.
And
Right.
you can have a setback.
Right. Right.
So hopefully that has helped someone to see an option that they can do right now. So if you see you having hair loss issues or anything going on with your scalp, you could do this right now as a obviously as a measure to kind of slow what's
Mm-hmm.
happening,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously as a preventative because this is for your whole body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about, and I say this with the caution that knowing that everybody's story is unique.
Yes.
Do you have any examples in terms of time frames with which, or even ranges with which maybe an individual or people might be able to think, okay, if I do this for 3 months, because I get that question a lot, but I also try to frame it in everybody's so unique.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is there a time frame with which someone can think about, okay, I've done this, about how long would it take if I'm consistent? I think the key is also consistency, right?
I think you would need to do these lifestyle changes for at least 6 months.
Okay.
Okay. At least 6 months. You got to give your body a chance to, you know, rebalance itself,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Based off the changes that you were made. So for example, I had fibroids, right? So this is not going to change overnight, right?
Right. Right.
Fibroids they get larger based off the blood supply,
Right.
right?
Right.
So if my blood was going to feed the fibroids, it couldn't feed my follicles. It was going somewhere else. So once I handled the issue with the fibroids, then my body had to rebalance itself to start the blood flowing in places and delivering itself to places that I also needed.
Right. Right.
So that's just giving you an example. Your body has to learn how to rebalance based off the changes that you have made. So I
Mm-hmm.
would tell someone, do a regimen for 6 months
Yeah. Yeah.
to give yourself the opportunity to see results.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just do something for 2 days. You know, we used to having,
Right.
we want this instant gratification. Okay. I
Right.
understand. Believe me. Right? And so that's why some of these products sell very well, right? Because they say, okay, this is the miracle drop kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
we want that. We put it on there. We don't see it within a certain period of time. We on to something else.
Right.
But
Right.
it takes a while for your body to rebalance. Also, you have to think about it took a while before you seen that you were losing your hair.
Right.
Statistics say that we lose about 30% of our hair before we actually see it, really recognize that with the naked eye. So
Mm-hmm.
you've already lost 30% before you even know that, hey, something's going on. So it takes sometimes years for you to get there to even see
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
right? So it's going to take real time for your body to make the changes and then um, so that the hair will show up
Right.
in the
Right.
way, in the way that you see it,
Right.
right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those of us, I think specifically around like with CCCA,
Okay.
it is we all know, and people, I think sometimes people shy away from it. I'm done shying away from identifying the things, because I think about when Jesus healed, like he never shied away from the thing. Like, so call it what it is, you can get healed. So, but it's a chronic condition. And I heard someone say this, I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she also said like chronic conditions call for persistent praise. And I also think that the chronic condition, for me, the way I've begun to reframe it is that it's a reminder to me when I start having an episode or something happens, there's usually, like you said, there's something off
Mm-hmm.
in the approaches. And so it's actually a reminder of and I wish I could be reminded another way, but it also for specifically around stress, like it's a reminder for me.
Yeah.
How am I navigating in these spaces, and what am I trying to pick up and carry that I maybe don't need to carry, and all these different things. So these are, while they are hard sometimes, it also is a reminder of us that we can make the adjustments and things that we need, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can literally feel a tingle in my scalp when I'm stressing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, uh-oh,
Yes.
get yourself together. Calm
Yes.
down, right?
Yes.
Calm down for yourself and calm down for your hair, honey.
Right. Right. So right. Exactly.
We need it here. Calm.
100%. Because it's almost like, because it's like, okay, let me.
But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that the body talks, right?
Yes.
That the
Yes.
body is talking. I mean, obviously, it don't feel good not, to see that you're losing your hair, but
Yes.
it's also a blessing that my body says that it will use my hair as a barometer to
Yes.
remind me or signal to me that something's going on.